Oh, what a world to live in when you have an attorney general that sees an unconstitutional law and tells you he will not defend it, which is basically what's going on in Florida right now. So let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel today. We're seeing some more unprecedented things going on in Second Amendment litigation throughout the United States. Today we're going to hit where Florida is doing some really cool stuff, which could have some application to the Supreme Court. So wanted to go through that with you today. But before we do, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to these videos. It really helps with the algorithms to get this information out there. We want everybody moving the same direction, pushing the Second Amendment ball rolling forward here in the state of California. So if you haven't already, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. It really helps. So Jacob, if you could actually pull this up, let's just go ahead and read from the Tampa Bay Times and see what's going on here. It reads like this. In a highly unusual move, Florida Attorney General James Youthmyer on Wednesday urged the U.S. Supreme Court to strike down a 2018 state law that prevents people under the age of 21 buying rifles and other long guns. Lawyers in Youthmyer's office, which typically defends state laws, filed a 17-page brief arguing the Supreme Court should take up an appeal by the National Rifle Association that contends the law violates Second Amendment rights. Then Governor Rick Scott and the Republican-controlled legislature passed the law after the February 28th shooting, or the 2018 shooting, at Parkland's Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School that killed 17 people. The NRA quickly challenged the constitutionality of the law, but lost in federal court and at the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. The NRA went on to the Supreme Court in May. Youthmyer said in March that he would not defend the law, but Wednesday's brief appeared to go further by arguing the Supreme Court should take up the case and find the law unconstitutional. Brady, a national group that supports such gun restrictions, filed a friend of the court, that's an amicus brief, on August 8th in the case, and also issued a statement that criticized Youthmyer for not defending the law. Brady argued in its brief that the Supreme Court should not take up the case. Such a decision by the justices would effectively leave in place the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals decision upholding the law. Governor Ron DeSantis in February appointed Youthmyer to serve as Attorney General after former Attorney General Ashley Moody was appointed to the U.S. Senate. Youthmyer's previous work as DeSantis' chief of staff. The gun age law was included in a broader school safety package that passed after former Marjory Stoneman Douglas student Nicholas Cruz, then 19, used a semi-automatic rifle to murder and injure students and faculty members at the school. So this is interesting, right? What we have seen in California, we saw Attorney General Bonta when we challenged Senate Bill 1127 on prevailing parties come out and say, hey, I can't defend this law in court, in which he bowed out, and then Newsom had to end up bringing his own attorneys, which he inevitably lost. But this takes it even a step further. The Attorney General here in Florida is not only saying, I can't defend this law, he's saying, I won't defend this law. And then he goes even further and files a brief with the Supreme Court urging them to take this case. Now, wins and losses throughout the court process, we've seen them hear both sides before. This specific case, it seems like it lost at the federal district court. It lost at the 11th Circuit. It also lost at the 11th Circuit en banc, which is why they're appealing it to the Supreme Court. But as far as the check boxes that we normally talk about with Second Amendment cases getting to the Supreme Court, it seems to check off those boxes. This is not being filed to SCOTUS on an interlocutory appeal. There has been a judgment in this case, and it's being appealed, and now it seems to have support from the Attorney General of Florida, where the law itself currently lives. Jacob, if you could bring this one up. This is from the filing to SCOTUS that the Attorney General's office produced from Florida. It reads like this. The court should grant certiorari and hold that 18 to 20-year-olds have a Second Amendment right to purchase firearms. Petitioner argues that this section's prohibition on persons under the age of 21 purchasing firearms violates the Second Amendment rights of 18 to 20-year-olds. Florida agrees. Though Florida defended the constitutionality of its law below, Florida's Attorney General announced shortly after taking office that, in his view, the state's chief legal officer, the law violates the Second Amendment. Based on that determination, the Commissioner of Florida's Department of Law Enforcement has likewise concluded that the law is unconstitutional. Certiorari is warranted. The decision below is incorrect. This issue has divided the Court of Appeals and is critically important to the civil liberties of young adults, and this case presents a suitable vehicle. The court should therefore take this opportunity to declare Florida's purchase ban invalid to the extent it is applied against legal adults. So there you have it. I mean, these sorts of laws have been challenged in states all across the nation. But here again, you have the Attorney General backing up plaintiffs that this law is unconstitutional, which is supposed to be in, defending these sorts of laws. I think that this probably speaks to a large shift that we're continuing to see in the country going in the right direction. And here's the good thing: when these things go to the Supreme Court and they are ruled there, that opens up the opportunity for states elsewhere to go ahead and get rid of bans like these. Definitely one that we're going to be following along with. You'll probably end up seeing a brief in support of this from CRPA. But until that happens, let us know what you think about this, you guys. Do you want to see cases like these brought up in California as well? There likely will be. But let us know what you think. Throw some comments down in the comment section. We definitely want to be paying attention to this stuff, as it does have implications here in the state of California. Otherwise, guys, please, once more, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to these videos. It really helps get this information out. We're trying to bring you the information that can affect us here in California and across the nation. So thank you very much for doing that. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you on the next one.